This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello, and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB. Today, we are taking a minute to celebrate some of the singleton commander-based formats and talk a little bit about one of my favorite commanders right now, Cosima, God of the Voyage. I have a paper commander deck, and I've been playing it a lot. So it's been my favorite thing to play since the new set Kaldheim was released, with Cosima as the commander. And today I am going to showcase a Brawl deck for you on MTG Arena, since we don't have Commander yet on MTG Arena. But I also wanted to show you quickly what I'm up to in Commander just here at the start of the video. So I have my Cosima, God of the Voyage commander, and she works really well with other ways to just kind of draw a bunch of cards. I've got my Jace the Mind Sculptor and a pretty important card to Fairy's Ageless Insight, which just doubles down the amount of draw that you get from the card. We keep the board really clean with mass bounce effects with Cyclonic Rift, Cyclone Summoner, Crush of Tentacles. Those cards keep the opponent's board completely off balance. We also counter their key spells with some sweet counters in Mana Drain, Force of Will, and Cryptic Command. And last but not least, my commander deck finishes off all the opponents in one-shot combo fashion using some amount of Omniscience, Seagate Restoration to draw like 20 to 40 cards, and Thassa's Oracle, which once I get my deck down to almost nothing, or at least less than my blue devotion on the field, is lethal for all the players. Says you win the game. So that's what I've been jamming in Commander. There's a deck list in the description if you want to check that out. And now we're going to dive into what we'll be playing for you today, which is also features Cosima, the God of the Voyage, which is my Brawl deck. So Cosima, if you haven't seen it before, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile it. If you do, whenever a land enters the battlefield, while this is exiled, you put a Voyage counter on it. If you don't, you return it to the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters, and you draw X cards, where X is the number of Voyage counters on it. Basically, it goes into exile, and while it's there, every land you play builds up counters on it. Eventually, you play a land, and instead of putting a counter on it, you choose to return Cosima to the battlefield, and you draw a bunch of cards. One for each counter that you put on it in the meantime. So it comes out in the beginning, disappears for a while, then comes back and draws. But don't underestimate the Omen Keel. This is the backside of the card, which you can cast this as. 1 and a blue for a 3/3 legendary artifact vehicle. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles that many cards. You may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and it accrues for only 1. So very often when I'm on the play with this deck, I am casting the Omen Keel. Also, if I'm on the draw and I have a good 3-drop or something like that, I'm casting the Omen Keel as a defensive measure if the opponent's coming out fast and furious. It's kind of interesting that Cosima can occupy the 3 or the 4 spot in your curve. Usually when I play a commander deck, I avoid filling that spot on the curve because I know I'm usually casting my commander. Here, I have a lot of 2s and 3s because I don't know where Cosima will be in the curve. It is all very relative to what the opponent comes out and does. This deck is a control deck with a slight mill theme. It doesn't usually win by milling. In fact, filling the opponent's graveyard is only a small side effect of some of the cards we want to play, but Cosima does put pressure on their deck, so it is a way that we can win. It's also very much about getting to cast and use cards like Merfolk Windrobber. On its own, this is a crew for the Omen Keel. Later in the game, if they have 8 cards in their graveyard, you can sack it to draw a card, so it's never a bad draw, so something like that is very nice. And then on the other hand, we have cards like Lull Mage's Domination, which is one of the only ways to steal the opponent's commander in the format right now. So we're running it. We would love a discount on it, although we don't always get there, but it is a very important card to the deck to take the opponent's commander away. Any kind of a control Brawl deck usually needs a way to neutralize the commander, and I don't like cards like Frogify or Mythic Repeal. They take away the commander's abilities, but the opponent only needs to bounce them or do something with them to reset them. I do love stealing commanders. I do love just taking them away and using them against the opponent, as you may remember from that time I smashed the Brawl Hall tournament. Anyway, we keep the Thassa's Oracle win con. If we draw through enough of our deck, the Thassa's Oracle can take it for us. We still have Teferi's Ageless Insight in the deck. We still have Seagate Restoration. But most of our opponents in the Brawl queue will scoop to some combination of sweet counters or some of the more powerful cards like Voracious Great Shark, Sublime Epiphany, which is absolutely nasty, Shark Typhoon, which is always a reliable win con, and Kioribes the Sea God and Ugin the Spirit Dragon. These sort of go big blue effects are what will beat most opponents just on their power level alone, especially if you can back them up with a counter spell. So I'm always one for trying to make weird control decks in a format like Brawl where everybody doesn't want to play against them. It's just my evil nature. I can't help it. There's something broken inside me, and I just need to take all the fun for myself. Anyway, for those of you who are a little like me and like to find a format and just torture it, I think you're really gonna like this build. So let's dive right in and let the Cosima Brawl mono blue control nonsense begin. Somebody's running the troll. My goodness, what has happened to Brawl? On the play, good hand. I think, is this a Cosima hand? Or an Omenkeel hand? I think with the Skydiver, it's an Omenkeel hand. We might be able to just tempo the opponent since we're on the play and we have counters. Let's give it a shot. Please play a 1-mana artifact so I can steal it. Or a Stonecoil Serpent for 2 would be perfect. Okay. Get in there. This is the moment of truth right here. Hit. Got your Kogla, got your Pathway. Also got Fungal Rebirth. Return a permanent from the graveyard to the hand. If a creature died, create 2 tokens. Funky. So this turn, the opponent can deploy their commander and have a 2/4 to block the Omenkeel, which is pretty solid. Pretty solid. But we get to attack over the top, and we get to start playing a tempo game and whittle them down. It does feel a little bad that they bricked our Omenkeel so quickly. Maybe I was supposed to play Cosima. But what are they going to do with this creature? We will see. Replication Ring. Yeah, let's shut the ramp down. Let's shut that down. Tome of Legends, nice. I can draw cards. I am very curious, does this trigger when I attack with the Omenkeel, which I believe is my commander? Let's find out. This is an experiment. In my play group, we decided yes, but time to test the actual rules of Magic the Gathering. It does trigger. That's exciting. All right. Target creature gets +3/+3 and a reach counter. Now, here's the thing. We could worry about this dying. We could counter this, but I think what we do is we let this die, and then we cast the other side. Because I think the Omenkeel has done its job. I don't think it matches up well with Savella. So, away you go. Take the action to move you to command, and end the turn. We have 2 cards to draw here. We have counter spells to keep the opponent from doing anything interesting. Solemn from the opponent. Let's Essence Scatter it. It lines up nicely with also drawing a card with the Tome. And we draw Mystic Sanctuary, which, gosh, that might make them scoop. Getting back a counter is so mean. Opponent thinking about punching me in the face. And by that I mean attacking for 2, but they might also be thinking about punching me in the face for countering all of their fun cards. What you got, Zero? Probably, I mean, I would attack. No attack. And we draw Alrun's Epiphany, which we're very close to using. I think I saved the Sanctuary. I think I want to get back one of these counters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I play this here, though, if I play you right now, I lose the counter protection. This has reach, right? Okay, no attacks. Big brain. I guess I'll use Mystic Sanctuary to get a... Which one? Which one? I think I'll get an Essence Scatter. If the opponent plays a large spell, we could get burned here, and then we can draw it with the Tome. Yeah, I don't think we play Cosima yet. I think that's next turn. Let's foretell this. Let's end the turn. I could have also just played the pathway that turn and saved the Mystic Sanctuary to get back one of these, but I don't think I'm going to have time to grab one later. I don't know. Opponent's passing. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They need this much to do a top 4 Golos type thing. So they're making a Manalith here. Tome, draw another card. Got the Essence Scatter, my turn. Got Kiora Best the Sea God. Ooh. Which one do we want? Take a red. See, we could also play this and see if we can draw another land to hold up a hard counter. We can also play this and make the opponent answer it. I think that this is the winner play. If the opponent can't stop it next turn, then we get to take another turn, we gain control of their Ice Shaper, and we have counter spells, and the game is just over. Boom. Kraken has arrived. Remember, the Ice Shaper has reach. All right, troll. Are you ready for some trolling? They've got a lot of mana. A lot of mana? They have a lot of mana. They have a lot of cards. They must be able to do something. It's obviously a very kind of go big type red-green ramp deck because we saw the Solemn, but I don't know what to think of Sudden Spinnerets. That is a fresh one to me. All right, we're making a Manalith. Oh, we're reading Kiora Best the Sea God. I don't know. This is 2 turns, 2 attacks, and you're dead. Oh, Cultivate. May as well be a scoop. Did they not get 2 lands? Lock you down. Extra turn. End it quickly. End it quickly. Just make the bad man stop. Nahiri, Hair of the Ancients, people trying to make equipment a thing. Awkward Keep on the Fabled Passage. Really, we want that to be our 4th land, but what can you do when it's in your opener? Mystical Dispute won't have any cheap targets, but might still come in very handy. Companion Tax, or not Companion Tax, Commander Tax, as it gets more and more expensive, is pretty reliable that you'll be able to Mystical Dispute a commander later in the game. I think we're going to be too slow for the Omen Keel. But I do love playing the Omen Keel. Okay, yeah, Omen Keel isn't going to do much for me, is it? Although next turn Baron bouncing whatever is pretty good. Okay, we're doing it. Omen Keel it is. The combination with Baron is pretty good. And we're not necessarily hitting all of our lands. And there's nothing worse than missing a land. Heliod. Okay. Boros Aggro Nahiri. Feisty. Let's set him back. Slow your roll. Unfortunately, when they replay the Hollow Blade, it makes attacking with the Omen Keel pretty awkward, but I guess we can into the Royal. Straight up tempo plays. We didn't hit a land from our opponent. No land in their top 3. And they're still hitting land drops, although they may not have more after playing that meadow. Do we have a land on top of our deck? I really want the land here to into the royal and draw. I really do. Please. Please. Whoa. Very unexpected. So what's the play? Nahiri +1. Make that a core, put the equipment on it. We're still missing land, but the Omen Keel gets to go try again. I mean, if we just get to hit land this way and then counter something, I think we're gonna win. All right, 2 lands. Play the tap land, counter something. And yeah, just they will resolve 0 spells for the rest of the game. It's not looking good for them. Back to the command zone? Nope. Goes to the graveyard. Nope. Goes to the command zone. I forgot there was like a little moment there. All right, let's speed up the clock. Interesting card to hit. Let's play it. So we can put a counter on Baron, potentially. It's something to do with our mana, if the opponent doesn't give us something to counter. I know you're thinking maybe I was supposed to shark that turn. I'm thinking the same thing. I'm kind of regretting it. I think that's fine. If they equip it, we can bounce it. Okay, this is gonna get ugly. Oof. Nasty. Nasty. How's our hand? Pretty slow. Pretty slow. But that is my deck. This is definitely looking like a Cosima hand, not an Omen Keel hand. I also don't think we're going to cast the Restoration. So we'll play that tapped so we don't have to pay life for it in the future. We're not playing against a 1-drop. That feels good. Gives me a little bit of hope. And a tap land on 2. Okay. One's hand is not off to the races. And now we can Jwari Disruption the first attempt at a commander. And then play Cosima and see if we can start piling up some cards. I mean, do you just fire off the Heliod or do you have something else? Linden. Yes. No thank you. There are cards that require snowlands on the field and the castle can't be activated yet. Let's play this. Let's play this. Now, if they want to do something about this, they probably can't deploy many threats or any threats. And they go for Mangara the Diplomat. Whenever it attacks, if there are 2 or more, you draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell, draw a card. Okay. Exile. Move to the command zone. Decline, right? That would be weird and stupid. That would not be the play. Take action. Start putting the counters on it. And I think the play is into the royal this turn. While making the opponent respect that we might have another counter. Great Shark is ready. That is fine. A little bit of ramp isn't going to hurt me too bad. There's the Heliod, okay. Let's bounce the Mangara so they don't gain life. And now we are set up for the Great Shark. Could have also played Clock and didn't say please, but I think the Shark, when we know they want to play Mangara, is very good. Rawr! Jaws! They don't want none. Thassa versus Cosima. An epic battle. What is this hand? I think this is an Omen Keel hand. But we'll see. Wall of Runes. It is a thing you can flicker if you really like to scry. Alright, they have Snowlands and they have Ascendant Spirit, so... I mean, do we play an Omen Keel against Wall of Runes? No, we do not. Let's say go. If the opponent pumps the Spirit, we Brazen Bounce it. Well, pump. Okay, we'll do it on end step so that the opponent can't just replay the Spirit and use their mana the way they want to. Do you have a Mystical Dispute? Not yet. Let's try to get this going. They are the dominant gamer. They drew Mystical Dispute in the blue versus blue match. Good job by them not playing it there too. Slam the Thassa. Get your free scry. Untapped land. Well, that means Into the Royal is an option. Let's see what the opponent does next. We're definitely behind, but I don't feel like we're dead or anything like that. This card isn't that terrifying as long as we do resolve our bounce spell at some point. And since it's an instant, we can do it whenever the opponent moves in. When this enters the battlefield, search for a land card, reveal it, put it into your hand. Do we care about a 1/1 that gets a land every turn? Or would we prefer to send out a Brazen Borrower and start attacking? We can also gain control of it with the Skydiver, but we have to pay 4 for the privilege. That's pretty rough. I think this is the play. You have another 1-mana spell? So next we can fight the counter war over the Thassa, and they don't get the flicker this turn. And the battle goes on. So now the Spirit might become a headache if they pump their mana into it at the right times. We have Sublime Epiphany to try to contend with it. Uh-huh. No fear of something like a Shark Typhoon. Pump again. Nice. What are we doing? I don't have a ton of instants here. Getting the Borrower down can block this for a turn, and they might have to put more mana into it, plus we can copy it with the Epiphany. Now we draw Mystical Dispute. It's our turn. Bounce this, copy Borrower, maybe counter a spell, but if we play this tapped, we could make sure we have Mystical Dispute to support Epiphany in a turn, which might just be better. But if the opponent puts 4 mana into this and we respond with an Epiphany and they counter it, it's such a blowout. So we do have to block. There's no way to block really profitably. We really need the Epiphany to resolve. So we could also play the Skydiver and chump with it. We could also use it to steal this, but then they resolve their Thassa, which isn't great. This is a tough turn. I think I just make sure this happens. I think that saving it is greedy. I think I'm far enough ahead from this play. They do get to resolve their Thassa, and they resolve the Spirit, but we're pretty ahead on tempo. And we're gonna try to take over now and just push through. I don't have an easy solution to the Spirit if they just kick back and put their mana into it, but that's gutsy, especially the way things have gone. So I'm not sure that's what they'll do. Allround is interesting. Might be better to play the Raven here with our flyer pressure. Wind Robber. We can go for Allrend. If the opponent counters it, it is a juicy one. We can Mystical Dispute. If they don't, we can go for Wind Robber. And it's a very large creature. Okay. I think we name land. And we whiff. Cool. Good times. The Wind Robber is important because if the opponent pumps a ton of mana into this, we can chump it. We can't sack it to draw a card yet, but it's an option. Yep, they're gonna do it. They're going all the way with this card. Next turn we can play Skydiver, steal their Farfinder, and then chump with the Skydiver. They're still scrying. They're at 16. They have to block the 5/5. If they block with the wall, they have nothing left to block to use Thassa on. They do have the tap ability of Thassa, but I don't think that's where they want to be. Target artifact X or less. This is not an artifact, just a colorless creature. Oops. All right. That's gonna leave a mark. Good lesson for you kids out there. Down to 10. We just drew a land. It's not really what I want to hit. How about some instants, huh? Land is the most likely, though. I should name land, but instant is the highest reward. I can't win. Me and Alrin do not get along. That's content, though. That is content. Ooh, me. All right, not afraid of the clock here. Interesting. Opponent's getting really aggro. What if we draw a way to just tap or remove the wall? We just win. Okay. Scry. Tome. Should I play the Tome, draw a card, and see if it's a game winner? Maybe I'm supposed to Oracle for it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I Oracle, then we still have 5 mana. I've already cast Brazen Borrower and Into the Royal. I don't know if I can find a spell to bounce this. I don't know if one actually exists in the deck. Like Lol Mage's Domination, I can't play that and also play the Oracle. Baron, can't do that. 1 mana short. Rune of Flight? Rune of Flight would do it. Alright, I'm going for Rune of Flight. I'm going for it. We can do it. Son of a... Alright, it's still on the table. We do not get the Rune of Flight win, darn it. But I'll put a Neutralize on top. Should keep us ahead. Nine. I see enough. 1, 10 mana, 11. So I can see them getting me to 1. Oh wait, What if they turn on Thassa? And tap this. Yeah, we could lose to that. Let's name Instant, because we know the top card of our deck. Score. Oh, 2 hits. Love it. All right. So they try to turn on Thassa and tap this down and they win. So they're going to strategic plan, which we have to allow. We have to counter things that add devotion. I think the right play last turn was Oracle first. That was a mistake, to play the Tome first, because we don't need this on the field. We had the Alron to get the card. We just needed the Tome only if it was a win the game now card. Okay, derp. Ah, a good, like the only person who can stick out a game against me had to be another blue mage. Whoa, 5-color? 5-color party? I mean, I don't know if this hand is good against 5-color party, but I'm gonna keep it. Also, I mean, is this a Cosima hand? We have enough land, which is one of the metrics for whether or not we need the Omen Keel. Yeah, the 2/4 like 1-turn barrier and then starting to stack up value is probably the right play. So do we play the Tome? I think so. The Brazen Borrower is also pretty important if they have a turn 2 rogue that we need to bounce, but they might not have one that we want to bounce. I guess turn 4 can be bounce with Borrower, and then turn 5 can be Shark, and we can also play the Raven if we need to. So 3, 4, 5. Paragon, and off to the races. Two cards on the Tome, feels good. Also a blocker for the Paragon. They're hovering the Tome. What are you gonna do to my Tome? You got a way to kill it? It is 2 cards. Takes some time to draw them, but definitely worth killing. I think this card should be in all of the decks. Yep, good choice. I think this card should be in all the commander decks if your commander is a creature for sure. If it's a planeswalker, which you can do in Brawl, I don't think it's nearly as good. But as long as it's a creature, I think you definitely put it in. Always decline to put this in the command zone, unless you look absolutely foolish. Alright, so we are going to borrow this. The question is kind of when. We could hold up a negate, but I have a feeling that the opponent's not going to play anything worth negating and that they have all creatures. But we can also activate Field here, which puts another counter on Cosima and can bring it back sooner. Ooh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Let's say go. Gemrazor, interesting party card. That is a Beast Cleric Rogue Warrior Wizard, thanks to the Paragon. We want to bounce it probably... No, we don't have to bounce it on end step, actually. We can bounce it now, because they can't recast the Gemrazor side. Alright. Let's go like this. Target their untapped double land. That's also a snow source. Songmad Ruins isn't one you see all the time. We could bring the Cosima back right now and draw a card. We might not hit our next land. Maybe that's not a terrible idea. Yeah, let's just get a card here. Let's place the block and see if they have a way to pump it. Okay, nice. And then end step, we'll go borrow. Set you way back. Yeah, we'll exile you again. Get you ready for when we draw more land. Frost Augur. Okay, you've got a job to do. Find me land. Missing land drops with this deck is so tilting. I guess I have to run more. What am I running right now? I mean, not counting spell lands. 41% chance to draw one. But I thought it was a really high number. I thought I was getting towards 30. All right, counter. Is that enough to make the opponent rage quit? Let's find out. Yay, we drew land. So do we cast Allrund? No, we hold up Great Shark. Start charging Cosima again. Woodland Chasm. Relic Robber? No. Red cards. Gross. Chomp chomp. Man, that people hate. People scoop to the Great Shark all the time. Combined with the Epiphany, though, if we drew a land, it would be so brutal. And we are back for the post-game wrap-up, and it performed as expected. 100% of opponents were miserable and wanted absolutely nothing to do with the deck. We'll check the stats really quick from MTGA Assistant, download link in the description, and it does support the channel. So if we go under stats and we find it, we went 12-2 with 8 times on the draw and 6 times on the play. That's a lot of miserable opponents. I guess I lost my first 2 games. I don't even remember them. Anyway, the deck is definitely a fun vacuum. You suck up all the fun for yourself. You leave your opponents dispirited, wondering why you are this way. And that's just the way it's going to be if you're going to be a blue counter mage like me. But what they don't understand and what they'll never realize is that we have more fun. Because we have the fun of both players, not just one. So I hope that you give this a try. I also hope you'll check out the Commander deck if you're playing Commander and see what you think of that list. I'm still pretty new to Commander. There's a lot of cards I don't own. Most of the cards are acquired in the last few years, and the older cards are acquired through sets like the Double Masters set and Commander 2020. Also, if you have any cards you want to send me to help me build my Commander collection that I might play in a future gameplay video, there's a PO box in the description if you're interested. Some fans have sent me some sweet cards to use, and I do enjoy torturing my local group with those cards. So thank you very much for everybody for joining me on my journey into Commander-based formats, and I hope that you enjoyed the Brawl gameplay today, and I hope that you enjoyed the build. And as always, thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next video. You're cool.